Bucks superstar Giannis Antetokounmpo just sent shockwaves through the league. According to Shams, if Giannis does not see long-term success, he could leave the Milwaukee Bucks. But here's where things get even crazier. If he leaves the Bucks, the New York Knicks are the favorites to land him via trade. We're going to break down all of these latest reports today. But before we get started, guys, about 54% of you watching this video right now are not subscribed to the channel. We are on a mission to try to reach 50,000 subscribers, and we could really use your support. If you enjoy daily Knicks content like this, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button because it could really support all the great content that we're creating for you. And now, let's get started. The Knicks are the favorites to land a superstar. This is the most chaos I have ever seen around the league. This was the craziest trade deadline I have ever seen. And now this offseason is shaping up to be just as insane, especially when you consider the bombshell that Shams dropped this morning about Giannis and his future with the Milwaukee Bucks. Shout out to NBA Central on the app X for giving us the following information. According to them, Shams Charania says that Giannis Antetokounmpo wants to stay in Milwaukee, but if he doesn't see sustained long-term success there, he will look elsewhere. Evan Cedardy from Sports Illustrated also gives us the following information from Shams. According to him, Shams says the Bucks need to make a deep postseason run this season in order to show Giannis they can be a sustained long-term winner. If Giannis believes Milwaukee is no longer a place he can win a title, he will look elsewhere to join another team. What a bombshell by Shams here. I knew that things weren't going exactly right in Milwaukee, but for these reports to come out from Shams, for Giannis to put this level of pressure on the Bucks, things have got to be a lot worse internally than we know. I remember a few seasons ago, Giannis saying something similar to this. And once he said that, the Bucks wasted no time and they made a major trade happen for Damian Lillard. If that's what they did before, who knows how they're going to respond now after Giannis is saying all of this. I know the Bucks are 5th in the East and they're not having the season they exactly expected. They probably expected to be the number 1 or number 2 seed. That isn't happening, and looking at the schedule and all the games remaining, I don't think it's going to happen. They're either going to stay at 5th, they might move up to 4th, but that's all the hope that they have for this season right now. Then they're going to have to utilize whatever they end the season with to try to make a deep postseason push, and I don't think that's going to happen. But then that begs the question, the most obvious question. If Giannis leaves the Milwaukee Bucks, what team is he going to be traded to? Well, according to the Oddsmakers, they always have us covered, and they provided this information as well, too. Shout out to NBA Central for giving us the following information from Bovada Official. According to them, the New York Knicks are the favorites to land Giannis Antetokounmpo. Their odds are plus 400. Right after them are the Brooklyn Nets at plus 450. Then the Miami Heat, the Lakers, the Clippers, the Rockets, the Warriors, the Raptors, the Spurs, and then rounding it all out are the Oklahoma City Thunder at plus 2,000. First, Kevin Durant, and now Giannis Antetokounmpo. It seems like a number of superstars, not just stars anymore, but superstars are being linked to the Knicks. Before I break down this Giannis situation, let me just say, I am so happy to see that New York is back. We are not only attracting stars to want to come play with Kat and Jalen Brunson. We are attracting superstars to want to come to this Knicks team and play with Brunson, play with Karl Anthony Towns, and play with this Knicks roster. We're talking about Kevin Durant one day, and now the Knicks are the favorites to land Giannis if he leaves Milwaukee this offseason. I don't know about you guys, but this is huge to me. A couple of years ago, this would have never been the case. Maybe stars, but not superstars. Now, on a consistent basis, we have superstars constantly being linked to this Knicks team. You have to give credit to Leon Rose and this Knicks front office. While I appreciate the odd makers and I understand where they're coming from, the Knicks do not have the assets necessary to land Giannis. We don't have any picks. You're thinking that the Milwaukee Bucks would just trade Giannis to the New York Knicks of all teams, a team that resides in the Eastern Conference, which means they're going to see Giannis multiple times a year. You think they're going to sign up for that without the Knicks being able to give them significant draft compensation back? It's just not going to happen. Not to mention that if Giannis does become available via trade, every team in the NBA is going to put together the best trade package they have available to try to trade for Giannis and get him on their roster. Why? Because Giannis is a superstar. He's a former MVP in this league. Who wouldn't want a superstar like Giannis? I, of course, would love for the Knicks to get Giannis on this team if they could make that trade happen. Giannis with Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns, if they could make that work, keep a lot of the core pieces together, and have that type of trio on this team, the Knicks would run through the league. We all understand that. But here's the biggest issue when it comes to the Knicks trying to trade for Giannis. We talked about the Knicks and not having the right picks. Really, the Knicks do not have the right assets in order to trade for Giannis and get him on this team. If the Knicks wanted to pull off a trade of that magnitude, they would have to gut this team, gut this entire roster. Do you think that Leon Rose and this Knicks front office did everything they did during this past offseason, giving the Knicks this championship roster, turning us into championship contenders? Do you think he would throw it all away just for Giannis? I understand he's a superstar, former MVP of the league. He could create magic if he joined this team. We cannot make that happen without giving up the magic that we already have on this team. And it is not worth it to get a superstar like Giannis if we have to gut this team. Let me remind you of something. The Milwaukee Bucks right now, don't they have two superstars? Dame and Giannis? Where are they right now? Aren't they behind the Knicks in the standings? They're fifth, right? Even though he's a former MVP of the league, a superstar, a dominant player in this league, getting whatever he wants at times. Sometimes you need to put a wall up in order to stop him. All of those things are true, right? But he's still on a team that is placing fifth in the Eastern Conference. That's because when you make superstar-like trades, you have to make great sacrifices. And the Bucks are teetering on losing it all during this offseason. I honestly cannot see them having a deep postseason run. And if that doesn't happen, Giannis has already made it clear, according to Shams, if they don't have sustained long-term success there, he will look elsewhere and try to go to another team where he can win a championship. So it's no secret why the Knicks are at the top of this list. Because a couple of years ago, you couldn't say this about New York. But this year, you can say it. The Knicks are one of the favorites to win a championship. Are we the top favorites? No, we're not. But we're still one of the favorites. And that's why a lot of the superstars around the league are looking at the Knicks as a potential destination for their next team, including Giannis. Leon Rose and this Knicks front office will not make this trade for Giannis. Not unless that cost comes down dramatically. But because this is Giannis we're talking about, that is never going to happen. His cost is not going to go down. If anything, it's going to stay the same or it's going to increase. And because of that, you can take the Knicks out of the running and the sweepstakes for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Even though the odd makers want to consider us the favorites to trade for him, we do not have the necessary assets to pull off a trade of this magnitude. I wish I could say otherwise because I would love to have a player like Giannis on this team. But it is not going to happen this season, next season, or the season after that. If Giannis is going to come to this team, it either has to be via free agency or because his costs drop to the floor. But because I don't see that happening, I also don't see Giannis becoming a Knick anytime soon. But what about you guys? What do you think about the odd makers at Bovada Official saying that the Knicks have the best chances to land Giannis via trade if he's traded this offseason by the Bucks? Let me know how you feel about that in the comment section below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans, take care of yourself, your families, and each other. Peace and love.